All right, welcome to the first topic video, and don't be surprised if you're seeing me do random stuff with random things in videos like that. Yeah. I will talk a bit about what kind of videos I will do in future, but just be aware that everything will be very raw and very unfiltered and specific, and you will see me do very weird stuff like now. And this is just to keep it very authentic. Yeah, I don't want to be somehow fake, or I don't want to be someone who I'm not. Yeah, the people who know me, the people in the strongman industry, the people in the strength and conditioning industry who know me, they know I'm very transparent, I'm very open, and this is how I want also to provide my videos, and that's why you are seeing now this video like that. Yeah, I had to improvise a bit with my microphone. That's why I have a small power band, rubber band around my neck, and my mic is there. So usually the sound should be okay. Here on the side you are seeing my birdie friends. Yeah, you are hearing them perhaps, and you might also see the dogs running around, or now it's very quiet, now it's very calm and peaceful because no one is at home. My parents are working, my family, my wife and my son, they are also for a walk. So I am alone at home with the dogs, at least with two of them. The third one is with my wife and my son. So yeah, what I want actually to talk about and why I'm doing these weird things is, maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but my brand and my business or my company is called Omnipotent. Yeah, I said this already in the last video. And omnipotence means basically all powerful, almighty. Yeah? And I have an issue with GPP. You might know this term from your training education, or maybe if you already dived a bit deeper into periodization and training, programming and all this stuff, you heard about GPP, general physical preparedness. And this just basically means that you are training pretty much every physical capacity out there. Which are those physical capacities? It's strength, it's speed, flexibility, and endurance. And we have the fifth one, which is not so much a physical capacity, but you could consider it as well. It's more like a neurological capacity actually, but it's connected to the physical side of things, and it's coordination. Coordination has, again, 7 other aspects to it, but we will dive into coordination in another video, yeah, because I think it's important to talk also about coordination. But for our purposes and for this video, it's enough to know these 5 things. So general physical preparedness means, okay, you are training each one of those. Yeah? The problem what I'm seeing nowadays is that we're actually not training all of them. We are just training some of them. Most of the time it's strength, and most of the time it's flexibility to some extent, maybe if you want to put some kind of mobility in there. This is another topic I want to dive into because I think it's pretty funny and interesting how the fitness industry is evolving and departing basically. Yeah, because just to say to you what I mean is, people are thinking that you can't get strong in squat, bench press and deadlift, overhead press and also simultaneously get very mobile and be very good in certain end ranges and other funny and gimmicky kind of things and lifts where we are seeing people are stretching and loading their end ranges. But that's, like I said, another topic. So back to GPP. GPP just basically means you want to develop all those physical capacities, but most of the time we are not really training all of them. We are even separating strength a bit more, and we have basically created strength and hypertrophy. Plus we have also power in there as well, and speed. Everyone is ignoring. Most of the people think of speed at maybe jumping, which actually goes more into the power side of things. And if we want to dive into that even more, we'll talk about this concept later in another video, but you have basically a speed or a strength velocity curve or a force velocity curve. There are many different names for this one. It's basically just the relationship between strength and speed, because the heavier things you move, the slower you move them, but the lighter things you move, the faster you move them. As far as going to sprinting, moving nothing, just basically your body, and accelerating and being as fast as possible. Yeah, that's sprinting, and that's the force velocity curve. 1 RM, so a weight which you move for 1 repetition, maximal repetition, that would be of course the highest side of the strength and speed or strength velocity curve or force velocity curve. Yeah. So we are now really separating many things, and we are not really training all the general physical capacities, especially like if we're looking just from a good or from a different kind of view at flexibility and endurance. We can break those down also even more. Flexibility you could say, or you could group as mobility, because mobility is just basically a spectrum of being as mobile as possible or as flexible as possible and being as stable as possible or as strong in various end range positions as possible. So basically just maximal length, maximal flexibility and mobility, or being mobile, and you have also stability. Because the problem is, most of the time, if you are very mobile, if you are like hyper flexible like many are, you might not have the necessary strength in those end ranges to control those end ranges and to not get hurt, basically. So, and don't wonder if you're seeing me do stuff like this. I'm just basically doing my everyday routines, with trying to learn new skills. And that's one thing why I'm talking about this topic today, about GPP, because as we established coordination, and different moves, they are actually developing real general physical preparedness. You want in your general physical preparedness to actually work on things which you are not specialized on. Let's take my example now. As a strongman, my focus is of course strength, and some kind of endurance, not so much aerobic endurance, but more like anaerobic endurance, because most of the time we have events for 60 seconds where we have to do for 60 seconds as many repetitions as possible. We have to carry things. Sometimes we have things for distance, sometimes we have to hold them for time. So it's also some kind of endurance aspect therein as well. Some kind of flexibility wouldn't be bad, or of mobility, because you want to get into certain ranges, like very deep hip flexion ranges. You need a good amount of posterior flexibility and of course end range posterior extension capacity, so to be able to really fully extend, but you also want to be able to go very deep to be able to lift sandbags, stones, kegs and tires and many other weird things. There are really many funny and different events in strongman. That's why I love it so much. But other than that, especially speed is very undertrained, very underdeveloped in our training regime in usual, and real flexibility, and if you want to take it, real endurance or aerobic endurance is not so much in there either. So this is one big problem, because general physical preparedness means you want to develop everything. Why? Because you want to be able to have skills to be able to access when you need them. Not only in competition, not only in dangerous situations, let's say like that, but also in your everyday life, because you don't know when things can go sideways, or you don't know how life is going to intervene, and you just want to be able to do everything what you want to do, yeah? Because sometimes you might have to work on some things, you want to play maybe with your kid, you are going on a vacation, you want to do some really fun trip, or you just want to play sports, yeah, you want to be pain-free, you want to have a very good life quality, and for this reason it's very, very important to train general physical preparedness, but as it should. Not specializing or half specializing on one certain thing. Most of the time it's strength or hypertrophy. Of course they are important, but in your GPP phase, in your general physical preparedness phase, you want to develop the other skills. You want to develop speed, especially speed, because speed is connected to power and strength, and most people just stop sprinting, stop jumping, and power is, like now new studies have shown, a huge predictor and indicator of your longevity, how long you are going to live and how well you are going to live. So speed would be something pretty useful to train, yeah, but you are not only training speed by doing weird conditioning, sprinting drills, you have to really focus on speed training, on sprint training, and if you didn't do speed for quite some time, you want to get slowly back into it and to learn how to sprint again, basically, yeah, because if you stopped for many years, the injury risk might be very high, yeah? Just saying. Same goes with flexibility. As we age, we lose flexibility. We are getting more and more immobile, and especially strength athletes, not only strength athletes, but even bodybuilders and many other athletes, and even general population. The majority of people, basically, they are not doing anything for their flexibility, and they are getting more and more immobile, and they're wondering why their lower backs are stiff, why their necks are stiff, why they have pain, why they can't move, why they have to sit down or to kneel to be able to put on their socks or their shoes, yeah. So that's why GPP, real GPP, is important. It's important to build muscle. Yes, it's important to build strength. Depends of your sport or of your goal. Maybe you're focusing more on speed, maybe you're on that side, or maybe you're focusing more on strength and you're more on that side, so you will be missing one of the other. But you want to be able, or you want to focus in this phase on everything. Yeah, one very, very good example or thing what you want to remember is the better you are, or let's say like that, the stronger you are in every possible position, in every possible way, the better you will live and the better you will be performing at anything what you will do. So the stronger you are, and by strong I mean the whole force velocity curve, because you don't want only to be strong but slow, because certain things like you've seen with this rope, for example, throwing motions, yeah, they require a lot of speed in this weird end range. Yeah, if you want to catch something, you have to be fast and to absorb the force, same force absorption when you are landing. You want to be strong in this way. So that's what I mean by strong in every possible way. In every possible position means in, like it says, in every possible range. Yes, doesn't matter if it's top end range or top bottom range, if it's the lengthened position or the shortened position of a muscle, because a muscle can be fully shortened or it can be fully lengthened. Yeah? And you want to be strong in all of these positions. That's real general physical preparedness, and that's what omnipotence actually stands for. Yeah? Not only that, you want also to develop movement competency. So you want to be able to move your body in the ways you want to move it, in every possible way, yeah? And not only in certain ways, like you are seeing me here do with rope flow. I'm able to go into very funny positions, yeah, and to do a lot of nice movements here with my shoulders and with my spine. And this is movement competency. Movement competency can even go further with interconnecting different movements with different weights, different velocities, different strengths. So just think about them as skills. Like if we're breaking them down, you can take and think about handstands or connecting different jumps, running and landing and catching something on one leg, on two legs, on all four, just on your hands. There are many, many different ways how you can develop certain skills, and that's what is called movement competency. And the great thing is about this channel, yeah, and what I have planned is, especially through unconventional exercises and through the old-time strongman exercises, if you have seen them, like many exercises from over 100 years ago or until now 50 years ago, before of all this industrialization in the gyms, we were doing quite a lot of things, and we were also loading these things and getting strong in all these positions. So this gave us a lot of movement competency, and it strengthened us in every possible position and in every possible way. And that's just beautiful, yeah? And that's the goal of this channel. So be prepared to hear more about that and to see also very unconventional exercises, approaches, and their explanations of them. Hope you have enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, to hit like, and to comment if you have any questions or any topics you want me to talk about. See you next time.